What's poppin', my Freeform Renegades? You are tuned into the Freeform Network. Thank you for joining us for another fun episode of Freeform Radio. I am your host, Noel, with my co-host, the same as always, Daniel.
Yes, sir. Back in the cut here, man. Doing our thing.
And we got Andy here.
It's all good. We're back in Adam, and great everyone's here.
Yes, it's another beautiful day here in Chicago. A little gloomy, but hey, what can you do? Wherever you listeners are, we hope you're sitting cool and feeling good. And we're going to get this rocking and rolling. So, Daniel, tell us, man, what have you been up to this week?
Not much. Things are starting to get back to normal. Visited a couple family members this weekend. So things are slowly moving into back to how it was before everything became lockdown. But still, just chilling home, watching TV, watching movies mostly, binge watching a lot of stuff. But me and my wife watched the movie Nobody. I don't know if you guys have heard about this movie. It's with the actor from the actor from Better Call Saul. So I had heard about this movie and I got really interested because I like this actor. He's a real good comedian, really good drama actor. So I was really excited to see this movie. Did you guys hear about it at all?
Yeah, that's where he's an action hero or some shit, right?
Right. He's like Jason Bourne and he's like kicking ass, which is a little out of his wheelhouse. I would say it's when I see actors like that, he's not the first one that would jump to my head. Kind of like a Jason. What's his name? Jason Stamos. Statham. That's who I kind of envision when I hear of characters like this. Even that new TV show, I think it's on CBS, the Queen Latifah one. Those are like actors. Yeah. Those are like actors that I'm like, I don't see you as this like badass, doing all this like martial arts, kind of thing. Keanu Reeves action movie kind of thing. So it wasn't the character that I would expect, but I really liked the actor, so I was excited to watch it. Me and my wife watched it, and actually we both liked it. I kind of took the advice Noel had mentioned in the last podcast that just don't go in it with super high expectations. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and I went through with that thought in my head, and I enjoyed it. It's not the best movie. It's actually pretty funny. There's a lot of comedic points in it, but it does have that fast action, kind of, juggling guns and shooting and dodging and kind of like stuff that's like unbelievable. But it was cool. It worked. It worked, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, dude. I heard about this maybe like a few months ago, and I was gonna give it a shot too, and I have it ready to go. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I'm glad you liked it, man. It sounds like it's gonna be a pretty good movie, and I'm not surprised that it's got some funny moments in it because Bob Odenkirk. I don't know if you know, I think he's from Illinois.
Yeah, he's
right.
from Chicago. Yeah,
I think like Chicago. Berwyn or somewhere in that neighborhood over there.
Yeah, Berwyn.
And so he got an early start with like comedy and stuff. He worked on the Conan O'Brien show. He was a writer for there. Right at the same time Louis C.K. was writing before he got popular and stand up. And so it's interesting, it's like it's surprising to see him do an action role pretty well, but I'm excited to see him now.
Yeah, I think as long as you have that mindset that, he's not like a super well-known action star, but he does kind of pull it off. Just because he's not super overpowered. He gets his ass kicked a big portion of the movie. So he's not like some like overly powered, like Steven Seagal, where these guys don't even touch him and he's just doing like all these judo move kind of things. No, he gets his ass kicked a good part of it, but at the end he overcomes adversity and then he beats these guys. So it was a pretty cool movie. The comedic parts I think were the best of it, just because it brought some lightheartedness to it and some kind of cheesiness. Like the main bad guy character, he's like this flamboyant. I think he's like Russian, is the character he's playing, and he's just like really like over the top flamboyant, So a lot of the gangster families, they don't take him serious. So they're just like, this guy, he's just a joker. He's just dancing around parading with these girls. And then when the shit comes down to it, he gets into the character of I'm a badass, mobster, I'm in control of this organization, and he gets like really serious, but then he flips a switch back and then he gets back into his flamboyant, having fun, kind of playboy character. So it works, man. There's a lot of funny parts in the movies. There's some good action. It has Doc Brown from Back to the Future. I forgot the actor's name.
Christopher Lloyd. Nice.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd. He's in it. He plays the father of the Better Call Saul character. And that was probably like the only part that was funny, but I thought the character was too over the top funny. It was like too unbelievable. He's like doing like these Keanu Reeves moves, and I'm just like, all right, it was a stretch to kind of think, Bob, whatever, Oxenberger, whatever the hell his name is, can do these maneuvers. But now you're telling me Doc Brown is like, doing these like Neo moves. I'm just like, nah, dude, come on, man. This is a little
shit, man. That's what helps you in yoga.
Yeah, he's probably taking like some tiger dick tea or something. I don't know what the hell's going on, but he's got some superpowers that I don't know of. But I didn't talk too much about it with Alana, but I think Alana, that was her favorite part, was watching Doc Brown in it, because he is funny. He's a really funny actor, and he brings this like extra comedic part to it. But it was the action parts that he was in that were kind of like taking me out of it a little bit, because I was just like, all right, come on, guys, this is a little much. Like, all right, I get it, but it's a little much. And then the only other big character that probably is recognizable is either RZA or GZA. I don't know which one from the Wu-Tang, but one of those GZA guys, he's in the movie too. So it was pretty good. I liked it. For people that are kind of on the fence, I would suggest go out there and watch it.
So, as soon as you told me, Bob, we apologize for being from Chicagoland. We can't say your last name, but Better Call Saul, basically.
Right.
Can you see him carrying an action movie franchise? I mean, because he's not your typical action star. Even Keanu Reeves, he's kind of pulled it off, but I think he's a little bit better looking. And like you said, right now he's just like, he's doing all these crazy fucking bending moves and shit. Like you're like, this shit's not real. Knowing who he is and the characters he played in the past.
I don't think he can carry a typical action movie, but a movie like Nobody, I could see him creating a part 2 and 3 of this thing. Just because it has that, action part of it, but it has the comedy part that kind of makes it that you forgive the action maybe being a little unbelievable, and you kind of forgive that part of it, and you kind of go along with it. I mean, it reminds me a lot of like Charles Bronson, where Charles Bronson was a badass and he fought a lot, but he got his ass kicked a few times, where, while he's there, pistol whipping guys and doing what he's got to do to kind of beat these gangs, he would get his ass beat a portion of it, so it wasn't like he was like this overpowered guy where he just enters the scene, kind of like a Punisher movie where you enter it and no matter how many bullets they fire at this guy, he can't get hit, and he's just doing like all these action moves. It's not like that. He gets
Charles
hit.
Bronson was jacked, man. He's a badass. Like,
right. I mean, that's the character Bob is kind of playing, where he's like
his character in the movies and shows he's played in the past wouldn't lead you to believe like, this guy's a fucking like vigilante, or this guy can kick ass. That's what I'm saying. Like, and when he did start kicking that, he got his couple ass whoopings, but he came back. That's what I'm like, to you're like, I don't know if this is believable, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I'm kind of saying is kind of in tune with like a Charles Bronson movie, Death Wish and stuff like that, where he plays an everyday guy, and I think that's where the name Nobody comes from, because the police arrest him and they're like, "Who are you?" And he's just like, "I'm just nobody." I'm just like an everyday guy.
You're like Peter Griffin, huh? He just said the name of the movie in the movie.
Right. But it's a good movie for you guys out there that want to kind of go check out. If you're fans of Better Call Saul, which I'm a super fan, the last season's coming up this year, so I'm really interested to see how they wrap up Better Call Saul. So a good movie for him. I'm really happy. I just hope with all this pandemic stuff that it does good in the box office, because it did get a release in the theaters as well as I think like HBO Max or one of those streaming sites. So I just hope it did good enough where he kind of has a good footing into the movie realm, because I know he's been mostly a TV actor. So hopefully
comedic. I mean, he's done a lot of comedic stuff, and that's why when I remember seeing the trailer and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna believe this, but like whatever. So I mean, I might check it out.
Yeah, pretty good movie. Check it out, guys. Just something else that I've been kind of delving into lately. I'm in the market for a car, so I've been starting to shop around. And what I found kind of surprising is that the dealer and the agents there, they've been kind of pushing the hybrid cars a lot. They're like, oh man, these hybrids are a lot more available. Great cars, blah blah blah. And so they've been pushing hybrid cars. And to be honest, I thought about it for a minute, even before they started kind of pushing it. But it turned me off that I'm just not as familiar with it. I'm worried that come 5, 6, 7 years, if I still have this car and if it starts having issues, where do I take it that they'll service a hybrid, or the Mexican mechanics are just going to look at it and be like, yo no sé, I don't know what es esto. And they're just going to be like, I don't know, you got to take it to the dealer. I don't know what the hell's going on here. So I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I kind of convinced myself from the start, I don't want to go hybrid, even though the gas mileage is a lot better. And with gas pricing going up, it is something that would possibly be of interest to me. But now that the dealers are kind of pushing it a little bit, kind of like hybrid, it's got me rethinking it, whether I should go with a hybrid or stick with like a combustion engine. Do you guys have any thoughts on hybrid versus combustion engines?
I've never really wanted to get a hybrid. If I wanted to get something that was alternative to like a natural combustion fuel engine, I'd probably just go with like a Tesla, like in a full electric motor versus doing the hybrid route. I feel like it's just you're like, maybe it's just me, my perception, but I feel like you can't do both well. You're gonna half-ass both of them. So it's gonna be like a half-ass electric, half-ass combustion, and it's not gonna operate good. But I don't know. I've never driven one, so.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I've never driven one, so I don't know how it would feel. That's the next thing I'm probably gonna do this coming week. I'm gonna go test drive one to kind of check it out. But yeah, Andy, have you ever driven a hybrid car?
Yeah, I bought one for my sister, a used one. It's weird because they're really quiet. But going back to like if you would get one, I don't know, with the current president and their clean initiatives, maybe it is better, because I just keep thinking to a South Park thing, where Obama Cartman has when he's a NASCAR driver, and he goes, "This Obama is gonna raise fucking raise taxes on gasoline. What the fuck's up with that?" That's how I keep thinking with Biden is with his climate change stuff. They're probably gonna raise taxes on gas or something, and they're really pushing people on hybrid. And I think in Illinois, Dan, there is a special tax on hybrids. You might want to look into it, or electric. It's one of those two, because you go less to the gas station and you're not buying as much gas. So I think Pritzker put something in there like that when he first came into office. So you might want to research that.
Right, I do remember something like that. I think it's only for electric cars, but you might be right. It might be hybrid as well. Just because of that, it sucks, because they're like, "Oh, go green," but then people buy these greener cars, and then you get hit hard because they're like, oh, well, we're not going to get the tax money from this guy because he's not going to buy as much gas from us. So let's compensate for that and tax him up front for buying this vehicle. So that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the hybrid, I looked into it. I think I would trust the Toyota ones a little bit more, because they were kind of, I don't want to say first, but they're obviously the leader in that, in the Prius. And yeah, my sister, I think she fills up the car, maybe she puts $20 maybe twice a month, if that, and she barely never goes to the gas station. Before that, she had a SUV and she was putting like $40 a week. So, and it gets pretty decent gas mileage. So, I mean, that's the only thing I would consider. But the way things are right now with this administration, gas prices are going up. I would probably get a hybrid, and I've driven them. It's all right. The only thing I know is those batteries. Those batteries fuck up. I mean, they're pretty pricey.
Right. That was one of the first questions I asked the guy. I'm like, how long is this battery going to last? Because am I going to have to look into replacing one? And that's like half the cost of a car. So, am I going to be stuck where like, well, now I got to trade this thing in with a shitty battery and only get like $200 for it because I don't want to put $5,000 into a new battery because it needs to get replaced kind of thing. And he's like, no. The batteries are guaranteed for 100,000 miles. This is like, so no issues for 100,000 miles. So if you drive it for 100,000, don't worry about it. The battery's covered or something to that effect. I didn't go into it in great detail. So that's probably something I'm going to look into this week coming up, maybe test drive one, get a little more information on it. And maybe I'll pull the trigger on a hybrid. Wasn't kind of looking into that, was looking more into just a typical combustion engine. But yeah, you're right, with all these new taxes and all this clean initiative, maybe it is time to kind of jump into that hybrid. I'm just afraid that my ghetto pass will get revoked and they'll be like, look at this guy driving around this electric
like, what
car.
A douche.
Right. so I'm not sure, but yeah, I have to put some more thought into it. But let's jump into Noel, man. I see you finished season 1 of The Invincible. What is that? I kind of heard about that. Is that a comic book TV show? What's that about?
Yeah, so Amazon Prime, they funded it, and season 1 came out, I want to say probably like 2 months ago. Yeah, because I had 8 episodes weekly, so it's about 2 months ago this came out. And it's a comic book based series. So it kind of like Justice League, the animated show, or Batman animated, all those kind of shows. It's based off the comic books, but I haven't read them, so I couldn't tell you if it's like word for word, like adaptation, or if it's, just kind of roughly based on it. But so far, dude, the show is amazing. It's probably my favorite animated show I've ever seen.
Ooh.
Now, let me ask you guys, have you ever seen Rick and Morty, the TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's funny. I got Hulu, and I ended up binge watching like the 3 or 4 seasons that they have. Really good, funny, adult TV show. So I didn't watch those with Junior. First couple episodes I watched with Junior, but then there was one where dragons like jerk each other off, and then I was just like, whoa, I'm like, hey Junior, we got to go watch something else.
Yeah, that's pushing the envelope a little bit.
He's fucking like some leader of the world, and they're at war, and the other guy's pissed off that I think Rick took her or some shit. It's some fucked up episodes, man.
Well, anyway, this show is mature in that sense, like Rick and Morty was, but it kind of combines the comic book heroes of like Justice League, and it's like a parody of Justice League, but it quickly becomes about the main character, who is a up and coming hero with the name Invincible, and it's kind of ironic because throughout the show it does everything it can to prove he's everything but that. And so it's a really good show, man.
Is it a team of people, or is it centralized between one character?
Well, there is a main character, but there is a team as well. And I don't want to give any spoilers, so I can't go into too much detail. Literally, the first episode is gonna it's gonna get you hooked, man. Like the last 10 minutes of the first episode, it made me to the point where I had to see the next one, and then I had to see the next one, and then next one, until I got through this whole thing. And I started probably when it was like halfway through, so I was able to watch about 4 episodes straight, binge it, and I ended up watching it weekly until it finished. And man, dude, yeah, 10 out of 10, I would say, which is rare for me to say on anything, dude. But it's just such a good show, and I already ordered the comic book so I could start reading those and see how they compare. But one other thing about it, the voice actors are really good. So like the productions, the quality is there, the voice acting is there. It was good to see some of these actors pull off these roles.
Right? Isn't it J. Jonah Jameson's in it? The
Yeah.
actor that plays the voice.
Yeah, his name is J.K. Simmons. He
Oh, okay.
plays the father figure or the father of the hero Invincible. His name is Omni Man in the show. And Invincible is Stephen Yeun. I don't know if you ever saw Walking Dead. He was Glenn in The Walking Dead.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah.
And there's a few other. Michelle Yeoh, I don't know if you know her. She's a famous Asian actress. She's been in Hollywood for years. I think she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Michelle Yeoh. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some good actors in it. I definitely recommend you guys watch it if you get a chance. 45 minutes an episode, 8 episodes for season one. Season two is just about guaranteed. If it better be. So I'll be looking out for that. And
Man, Amazon's they're kind of on fire with these comic book shows. They had that one. I know the other one that I
boys,
like, The Boys, man. I can't wait for season 3, I think, or 4 is coming up. That man,
yeah,
that's a
dude.
good TV show too, man.
You know what? It kind of combines the boys, Justice League, and Rick and Morty, and you got Invincible right there.
Wow, man, I'm gonna have to watch it then for sure.
Dude, man, such a good show. Yeah, another thing I've been watching, is called 30 Monedas. This is also my favorite show now, horror of all time. Uh,
Holy shit! What network is this on?
this one's HBO. 30 Monedas is on HBO Europe. I think you can get it on Amazon Prime if you have an HBO subscription, or if you subscribe to HBO Max, you can get it as well. Or if you need an alternative source, reach out. I'll see if I could do something. Um, really quickly on this show, it it like turned my expectations upside down. I was going into it thinking, oh, this is low budget. This is going to be from Spain. It's going to be just like whatever, like just a run of the mill show that they're just trying to pass off. And within the first 2 episodes, I was like, this is unlike any other show I've ever seen. They pull different tricks out of their hat, and I'm just like, what the hell's gonna happen next, dude? I'm going into it with a writer's mentality, and I have a pretty good track record of predicting things. As I watch a movie, as I watch a show, as a writer, I'm like, oh, this is what I would do, and then boom, it happens. Because I'm like, that's the logical thing. That's the best thing you can make out of the situation. And so when I'm watching the show, and I'm like, oh, this is probably gonna happen because that would be entertaining to see. And it's like they like goes above and beyond it, and I'm like, holy crap! Like I didn't see this or I didn't see that. And if you liked Resident Evil 4, that whole Spanish village, that whole medieval look, that deep guttural Spanish language, you're gonna love this show, dude. It's got some really cool characters. It pushes the envelope with horror. It's got a lot of blood, a lot of gore. But one thing I will say, if you're very religious and you are easily offended, it might not be the show for you.
Whoa.
Uh, yeah. If you're very religious, not that, it's gonna like make you disbelieve whatever you believe in. I'm just saying it's gonna have to have you have an open mind as to what it's telling you. 30 Monedas, just to give you a quick rundown as to where that title comes from. It is about the 30 coins that Judas was paid for betraying Jesus. And those 30 coins, it's kind of like blood money, the blood money from Jesus.
Right.
So it
Yeah, I think I've
has,
seen a trailer on this. Now that you're
yeah,
talking
dude.
more about it, yeah.
It's been popular. A lot of people. It just came out earlier this year, or no, sorry, late last year, but it finished early this year. I think in January. And yeah, so it deals with the blood money from, betraying Jesus. And the intro, bro, the intro for this movie is so crazy. It shows Jesus getting crucified, and then it shows Judas getting paid, and Jesus sees him and he starts laughing like maniacally. It looks creepy as shit. I was like, "Oh crap, dude. Never seen Jesus portrayed that way." And it's like he knew he was gonna get betrayed, and he was laughing. He was like, "Wow." He's like, "You did that." And then Judas like is scared at his reaction, and so he runs away. And in a last ditch effort, he like hangs himself. I don't know
Right.
for what reason exactly. I mean, I don't know what was going on in his head, but in the intro, he hangs himself, and then the coins are taken. Somebody collects it, and I told my mom about this, and she's pretty religious. She's like, blasphemy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right,
Jesus.
yeah. That's why I'm like, yeah, this isn't for everyone. Definitely, if you have a open mind to just being able to watch any show on any topic, then this is for you. But if you are easily offended by something that goes against what you believe in, then yeah, maybe watch one episode and see how you feel.
Right. Well, 30 monedas is 30 translated to 30 coins.
Right.
Is this show in Spanish or what?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
it takes place in Spain. It does have Rome parts, like parts in Italy. It does have Italian as well, but majority of it is like 90% of it's Spanish.
okay. So yeah, I imagine you watched it with subtitles, or are you fluent enough in Spaniard? It's not
It's not
is it?
Mexican Spanish.
Right, it's not Mexican
Yeah,
Spanish,
they
right?
They're
got
not
their
gonna say
Spanish is
way or
weird.
cabrón or
Yeah.
nothing or chinga or nothing like that. It's gonna be joder, or shit like that. And the lisp is a little bit there, but not everybody talks like that. That's a little bit over exaggerated. So the lisp is there in some characters, but I do it like if you like Resident Evil and the whole like atmosphere that brings, I think you're gonna love this show. Um, I really don't have any critiques except for one scene uh, that kind of pushes the envelope a little too much, and it was the last episode. And I was like, I could have done without that, but everything else was so good. I'm like, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 is really good.
Wow, wow. I might have to watch this, even though I don't care for movies that are not native in English, because I tend to watch movies with subtitles anyways, just in case, I'm like, huh, what did he say? I could look at the text and kind of see what the hell the person had said. But to concentrate just on the subtitles and watch a show or a movie like that, it's a little difficult. But with it being Spanish, maybe it'd be easier since, that is my second language, Spanish, so I could probably follow along a little easier. So might have to watch it, man. Sounds really intriguing. Not to jump off into a tangent, but I'm watching, and I'll probably talk about it in the next episode. I'm almost finished with it, but watching The Sons of Sam. It's a new Netflix documentary. It's like 4 episodes, and the first episodes are just talking about the son of Sam stuff, but now it's getting into some conspiracy stuff about how there might have been satanic worshippers that were behind these killings, and it's really kind of nutso with all the Satan and church imagery and all the stuff that it's kind of going into. With you talking about 30 monedas, it kind of like tickled that part of my brain again, like, oh shit, this is kind of like maybe the same thing where it's
Yep.
taken a lot of like church thoughts and then kind of putting a little spin on it.
It definitely it involves a lot of conspiracy stuff. Kind of a shadow government in the Vatican. I don't want to call it government, but it kind of is. I mean, the Vatican is its own like
Its own
Right.
nation, isn't it?
country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
In Italy, it's its own country. They have their own
Their own bank.
bank, and like I think they have like I don't want to say an army, but they got like their own thing. Yeah.
so you do you guys remember the Da Vinci Code or those kind of
Mm-hmm.
movies? So
Right.
Yep.
it's going to involve stuff like that. It's going to involve not the Templars necessarily, but the Vatican, Rome, the church, the Bible, how it certain things got left out. It talks about documents that, kind of would just change everything. It would change the whole world and their understanding of God and all that. And so they're trying to collect these coins for power. And yeah, it's man, it's a good show, dude. I really can't, say enough good things about it. The acting's good. Everybody's believable. You kind of got like the best Spanish actors in it. There's a few actors that I recognize from Spanish movies. I do like to watch a foreign film every now and again, and Spain has actually been putting out some good stuff. There's some good movies that I could recommend you guys, probably down the line for another episode. But yeah, definitely keep an eye out, 30 Monedas. If you do need help getting access to it, I can help you find that avenue. Because yeah, HBO, I think they charge about 15 a month, and yeah, I found an alternative route for that.
No, sweet. I could see how my mom would get a little upset about it because I
Oh yeah.
remember I remember when the big conspiracies of Mary Magdalene and how Jesus might have been married and had kids, and I talked to my mom about that years ago, and she got kind of upset with that too. He's just like, oh, these people, just trying to break down the church and talking about stuff that they don't know and just bringing up conspiracies to kind of stir things up. But there is a lot of stuff that's unknown. When you're the leader of power, Rome back then, you're the dictator of the history. Your record books is what the history is going to be told. It's not like there's some central location of this is the history of the world. So there is a lot of untold stories, a lot of things that aren't written down that are just passed through generations of people. So you never know. You never know if this stuff was real or not.
The fact that I don't want to know if it is real or not, but the fact that they make you think about it, that's already enough for me. It's like now I'm having thought. Now it's not like this is what this is and that's it. You know what I mean? It's like getting you to think like, what if this, what if that? And it's so cool, man. It's such a good show. Uh, I don't generally buy a lot of like Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff like that. I kind of quit that, a while back, probably over 10 years ago, to be honest. But this show and Invincible, those are two shows that I'm thinking I'm gonna have to buy the whole DVD or Blu-ray collection. But yeah, man, that's all I want to say about that. Speaking of DVDs, Andy, it looks like wow, you're bidding $600 on DVDs, man. Tell us, well, what kind of DVD collection is this that's worth
Damn,
600?
balling. Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago, well, it was more like a month ago, we were recording and I was here. I was watching this auction and I was pretty close to winning it. And I started getting notifications. And it was I don't know if you guys remember a show on NBC called Las Vegas. It lasted for 5 seasons. And I've been trying to watch them. Nobody has the streaming rights. I searched some of the websites I use. They weren't working very good, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll try to find the DVDs, and they stopped. The DVDs are out of print, and so I was like, fuck, man, like let me see what I could find, and I found a complete set, uh, and it was going when it was like at like $40, and then so I'm at the same time the auction's about to end, I'm recording and I'm like, holding my own against Danny and shit. And that when we're talking here, and I'm fucking trying to do the, multitask,
Multitask, right?
which is bullshit because you're fucking up something. And that's what happened. I bid fucking, so I accidentally hit, I was going to put like 65 or something, and I hit 665. And I was like, holy shit. And then, so I said at the last like 30 seconds I was ahead, and I'm like, I just fucked up, and I'm like, we'll see what happens.
That was your bid, but what was the other person's bid?
Well,
Because
yeah.
it would just go to the highest bid. So
Yes, there was me and another guy going at it, and I don't know if he had some bot or some app. He outbid me in like the last couple seconds. He put like 700 or some shit. I don't know. And I was just like, whew, like I fucking escaped that one. So the final bid was like 670 something. Like it rounded up by the percentage or whatever they let you. And I'm like, holy shit! Like I got fucking nervous because I thought I won, and I checked that thing afterwards after the episode, and I got outbid. But I'm like, there's no way this guy's gonna pay $675 for those fucking DVDs. So I was kind of keeping the eye on it. I saw that the guy relisted it and he sold them for 65 to this guy, or 75. My apologies, 75. So I'm just like, damn, man, did this guy? There was like, what did he do? There's like, oh, I'm not gonna pay this, but I'll give you this. You know, because it was fucking weird.
Yeah, I've never like super overbid for something on accident. So I wonder if you would be able to like back out of that, or if you're stuck on it.
eBay, like as you know, I have an eBay business. You know, I sell shit on eBay, and it's not as strict as it used to be. They're trying to make it more like a store. You go to Amazon, you know, you buy shit, easy to return. So now when people bid, you remember, you know, a bid is a binding contract. When I first started on eBay, all that shit's out the window now. I've gotten people buy shit, make me offers, and I accept them, and they don't pay me. And so I'm like messaging like, hey, what's going on? When are you gonna pay this? Otherwise, I'm gonna relist it. And then I just wait a couple days. Nine out of 10 times I get ghosted. I don't hear shit. And it says, oh, buyer didn't pay. Do you want to relist? And then after a certain amount of time, you can just relist it. And there's no negative feedback or any of that shit.
You can't leave a negative feedback on the buyer?
Nah, dude, it's all fucking. If you leave a negative feedback, if you're a seller, it's very complicated now. Wow. And
it's really tough for sellers then, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's hard on sellers. I've gotten, so just to give you an idea, I've sold this past 2 weeks, I sold 4 items. I sold this Boost mobile phone that I found. I had this guy bid on it. He got it up to like $115. I'm like, sweet. And then I'm like, he won. So I'm like, and then I sent them an eBay reminder like, hey, payment's due. And I go, hey, if you pay me tonight, I can ship out tomorrow. Nothing. And then he sends me this email in Spanish. He goes, is the phone locked? And I'm like, the phone is locked to Boost Mobile. I go, but you could probably unlock it if you go to a local shop or you talk to some Russian. Dude, the guy never... I sent them another reminder the next day. Hey, when can I expect payment? The motherfucker never paid me. Wow. So I'm like, what am I going to do here? And then I'm just like, I just relisted it. And then I got another fucking guy in Wisconsin. He kept fucking... He started basically berating me on Messenger.
Nice.
He's just like, hey, man, why is your phone so high? I'm just like, make an offer. Well, I'll give you $60. I'm like, nah, I declined it. He's like, why aren't you taking my offer? I'm like, because it's too low. And he goes, I just went to Boost Mobile and the phone on there's for $80. And I'm like, okay, then buy it on Boost Mobile. He's like, why won't you take my offer? He like put it at 80. I'm like, hey, motherfucker, go buy it on Boost Mobile. And like, he just kept fucking bothering me. I was like, I wish I could block this fucking guy. I finally sold it, but yeah, and I got another one on sale. But yeah, man, it's just, I don't know. It just people expect more, I guess, on eBay. But like, yeah, like going back to the DVDs, my instinct was like, fuck, like I'm old school. Like, how am I gonna justify spending $600 on DVDs to my wife? She's gonna fucking kill me. And I'm like, when I saw, like, oh man, I got outbid. Thank God. But I'm like, no way this guy's gonna pay that. Like, there's just no fucking way. And yeah, sure enough, when I went back, the transaction got canceled, and I guess he listed a special thing for him, and he paid like $75 for him or something.
Wow, man, that's nuts. So I've never heard of this TV show, Vegas or whatever. So I don't even know if it's worth $600, but I doubt it, man.
Nah, man, it's not worth that. I mean, at most maybe $80 and shit. But fuck, man, yeah, I was like, I'm still trying to keep an eye out for it, but it's still it's like you know how I feel about physical media. So yeah, I'm trying to get it, and and part of it is like, you know how I sell on eBay, I sell on Mercari, I got that side business. I'm really right now where I'm really booming too is on Marketplace. I buy a lot of new shit and flip it on there. And like I've told you guys in the past, man, you get all sorts of fucking sob stories. I sold some like pots and pans and shit. I just sold um like a toolbox set, a Craftsman toolbox set. And man, I got a shitload of motherfuckers messaging me on that thing. And I'm hearing all fucking lowball offers and fucking people barely speak English. It's you're like at work and you see like all these Facebook Messenger messages and you're just like, ah, shit, let me see what's going on. Hey man, is this available? Yes. So, is it brand new? Yes, it's still in the box. What's the lowest you can go? What are you willing to offer? I have it for like 180, $50. Nah, man, that's not good enough. I could do like 160. Well, I really don't need it. I'm like, okay. And then it's just like that's the shit you kind of deal with, and I'm just like, all this to make like $100, like fuck, man, it's crazy.
It's pretty smart that when they ask you what's the lowest you'll go, you first tell them, well, what's your offer? And I'm assuming you do that so that you could see if he's gonna,
if they're serious.
Yeah. And then are they gonna get close to, in your mind, what your lowest offer would be, or if they're really far away from that?
Well, the first, like when you do Marketplace or offer up, when I get messages like on Marketplace, you could see the Facebook profile. So I click on it, I see where the fuck they live.
You look at his picture and you're like, I got this sucker.
I'm just like, sucker born every minute. And I'm just like, okay, this fucking person lives in Chicago. They're not going to drive all the way out here. And then they're probably going to send somebody to pick it up. And then you start like, yeah, what's this and that. And then the problem is then when you do agree to a price, they look at everything, and then they start talking to you more about lowballing the fuck. Like, hey, just take this. Like, nah, man, this is the price. And then you got to deal with all that bullshit. And then you got to, social distance. And then you got to have your gun ready because shit might go down and shit because it's cash. Now the new thing is the Zelle. When you put like Zelle only, some people freak the fuck out. But I think you get more protection, but I don't know. I mean, I prefer cash, but yeah, that's the new thing. A lot of people are like, I could sell you. And I'm just always like hesitant. So like I sold this toolbox this week and I told them 160 cash, the final price. And then they came and then they're trying to lowball me. And then I'm like, all right, like we're good. He goes, yeah. And then he's like, can I sell you the money? And I'm like, I said cash, man. You don't got cash? He goes, no. And then it was an older gentleman. He takes out his phone, dude. He was like shaking. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude. And then I got the money, and it was some like fucking company name of the money, which is weird. And I was just like, fuck, man. Like, what is this? Some bullshit, like some scam, but fuck it. I got my money, and the guy rolled out of here with a toolbox.
He was probably using his company like expense to pay for it.
It said something like transportation company.
Right.
And his wife was the one messaging me, not the first or the last. Was messaging me all this shit, and then some dude and an old lady show up. That's the thing. And I mean, it's pretty. What I've seen lately, I have a lot of sales on eBay and Facebook Marketplace and Mercari. To me, the kind of I know people are spending money. I know that right now because for like there's a law like in Christmas, like from fourth quarter, like from Thanksgiving to Christmas, it's like fucking crazy. People are just buying shit. Then it kind of slows down. And then now with the nicer weather, like the last month and a half, I feel like people are just buying shit because I've sold a lot of shit in the last month, and it's that's how I gauge the economy. I think that stimulus money, people are ready to use it or some shit.
That's good. I just heard on the news some guy was trying to sell his car, and obviously that's probably some more money. It's probably 1,000 at least, if not, up there to 10,000 or more. And the guy got shot, man. The guy brought the car, the guy test drove it, and then he's just like, get the hell out of the car, and stole it and took off and shot the guy. So, you don't hear about that too much, and I imagine this is probably a growing trend as far as selling on the internet. So, maybe it's becoming safer, especially with I know when there was a big trend of robberies, they released like, hey, do it in public, don't let these people don't go to their house, don't go inside their house, like do it in public so that it's safer for both the seller and the buyer. So I wonder if this is becoming less of an occurrence of being robbed while doing stuff like this.
Well, we got that mutual acquaintance. They do. His wife sells like a ton, but right. She does a lot of pickup at porch pickups, and she has the doorbell, the
Ring camera.
Yeah, right. She got all that stuff, and I mean, I got like some big ticket item. Not big ticket. It's just big shit. Like I've sold grills and fucking these toolboxes that are like 5 feet tall and shit, and like pots and pans. I mean, I sold a ton of shit, and like I don't feel comfortable leaving it outside. And like I said, the Zelle shit kind of spooks people. I feel like it spooks people because they instantly think it's like a fucking scam or something. Because you take the money and then you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Well, I imagine older people maybe get spooked. Like me, I'm not accustomed to Zelle, but if you talk to somebody like Noel's age or somebody younger, they're probably really accustomed to making transactions with stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've done it or Noel, where you actually go on a marketplace. I know Facebook is for old people, but if you fucking go and like look at games or, I mean, you find some deals and there's people like selling shit. I mean, I don't know how comfortable you are. I've done a couple porch pickups when I bought some shit from other people. I mean, at first I was like leery about it, but now it's just like, hey, it's just another option of just when you're looking for shit.
Yeah, no, I try not to mess with in-person stuff like that. I could see that there'd be some cases where it'd be okay, but especially since we're guys, we're a little, probably more capable of defending ourselves. But hey, I don't think it's so safe for just everyone to go ahead and do it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you got to look at, Facebook has ratings too, like how you handle all that shit, and I think in your gut, sometimes when it's too good to be true and shit like that. And I mean, if you want to meet up somewhere, I usually recommend a Walmart because they have cameras in the parking lot, or like somewhere around the police station. That's what they recommend. But I mean, more and more people are just like, yeah, pick up at the, pick up here and leave the money under the welcome mat. I've done a couple of those too.
Oh, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, try it, then, man. It's an experience, man.
I mean, the only selling one that I did was years ago where somebody was selling me like a first-gen Apple Watch for like $100. But I met him at a gas station, and, that was like the most I've ever spent on something like that. Otherwise it's always been, like $20-$40, and it's like, meet me here. Once I bought like a ladder for like $40, and then yeah, this was the most expensive one, and I did get kind of nervous. I was nervous the whole time, and it was weird because it was the same thing. I was speaking to his wife like the whole time,
yeah.
And then he's just like, yeah, my husband will be there to do the transaction. I'm just like, oh shit, where did this guy come from? I haven't spoken to no guy. It's been just with a female the whole time, and all of a sudden, like this, like Russian guy shows up with the phone or with the iWatch, and I'm just like, holy shit, what's going on, man?
Yeah, dude, that's like I said. Usually, when I'm dealing with people, like basically all my transactions have been you're dealing with somebody, and then they're like, I'm gonna send so and so, and 9 out of 10 times it's a dude, and it's a younger guy, so you're like, fuck. Man, like I gotta get shit ready because. And then what's funny is on one of them, this lady she actually was messaging me, and she lived in where I grew up in, where we grew up, Merrill's Park. I'm like, how the fuck is she gonna get all the way out here? So I'm thinking she's probably gonna send somebody. So after I negotiate the price, and I'm just like, yeah, so she's like, I could come on Sunday. And then she's like, that Sunday morning, she's like, I'm gonna send my my nephew. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he comes, and then he's like fucking talking real fast and shit. And I had another set of the thing, and he wanted to buy the whole thing, and the both of them, and I sold it to him. And then he just fucking takes the shit and he leaves. And then like 5 minutes later, the lady's messaging me, did he come? What time? Tell me, let me know when he gets here, and let me know what. I'm just like, what the fuck's going on, man? Like, why don't you fucking message your nephew? Why the fuck are you texting me all this shit, Which was very strange. I'm like, he left like 20 minutes ago. Oh, okay, thank you. And then she says like, oh, I talked to him. Thank you. It was nice doing business with you or something. I'm just like, okay, that's fucking weird. But whatever, man,
Yeah, I mean, you'll meet all walks of life when you start dealing with shit like that, man. That's why, like, I think for me personally, I like to do things online, through whatever method, Zelle, cryptocurrency, whatever. Or if I'm gonna do it in person, do it in a place designated for that, like a flea market, garage sale, you know what I mean, farmers market, places that are in public with a lot of people where that's the whole mission is you're selling and someone else is buying. It's not like, oh yeah, I was just doing fucking, I was making macaroni and cheese and here, I'll sell you this right now in 10 minutes if you come over. You know what I mean? Like, it's just people living life and then you just interrupt their life for a moment to buy something. It's just it's a weird thing for me personally.
Yeah, and like it's 99% of the time everything's gonna be fine. People come, they pick up, you have an exchange, like, oh, it was nice meeting you, thank you. And then that 1% is when you really get fucked, because that's what gets the news. Like, Danny, I heard a motherfucker got shot, man. Like that's where you're like, that 1% is what freaks everybody out. But 99%, it's fine. It's just that you hear more of that 1%, because this shit happens all the time. But if you guys let us know, like me, if you got some resale shit or you got your own pickup stories, let us know at ffnquestions@gmail.com. We want to hear your experience on it, because to me, it is an interesting thing that's going on right now, and everybody has their own walk, a story of like why they do this, or they something they prefer. But with that, we got some. It's gonna take us into our article of the week. So here it is. I've been the last couple weeks we've been talking, and I've been bringing about UFOs, especially with Luis Elizondo. So June 1st, and the UFO communities, or not June 1st, the month of June is this big thing, because the government's supposed to release allegedly documents confirming that aliens exist. So the article for the week is the title. It says former military intelligence official says government preparing for huge UFO reveal. The article came out on the 26th of April. They're saying about first contact type of shit. It says the government could release evidence and reports about unidentified aerial phenomena as soon as this June, according to Pentagon whistleblower. So, we've talked about the Tic Tac UFOs. The New York Post has released a lot of UFO articles in this past year. Mainstream media is talking about it more and more on like Fox News and CNN. They're talking about it, and it's getting more of a serious tone at that. Like, some guy saw a UFO. Like, oh, maybe it was swamp gas. They're really getting into it. So they have new wording, UAP, and I mean, for what we know, we all have reviews. UFO disclosure was real important to me at one time, and slowly over the last decade, the CIA and some other agencies release stuff that where they admitted they communicated with UFOs, or they admit this is real. Um, it's just I don't need to see the president of the United States come out and say, "Hey, UFOs are real." You know, we know about it. Like they know about it. Is now is I think it's just what are they going to tell us, and how are they going to, you know, spin this. And you know, knowing what you guys think, I kind of know your thoughts on it. I mean, do you think if the president of the United States came out and said, "Hey, UFOs are real," how much of an impact that would have on you? Or with the recent, you know, episodes, I kind of bring it up where they released documents stating, you know, UFOs, military people seeing it, and there was reports on it, and they acknowledge it's real. Is that good enough for you, or do you want to see like an elected official come out and say this shit's real?
I think I want somebody that's credible to say it. Not even elected officials are that credible nowadays. But of top of that, I want them to also say the source of these UFOs, because UFO is ambiguous. UFO could be a Russian spacecraft that they made, and it's like super high tech, and we have no idea or even capable of understanding how it works. Or is it extraterrestrials? I essentially want them to admit to extraterrestrials. UFO, that's too ambiguous. Too ambiguous. It could be anything, right? But an extraterrestrial, or like a statement saying that they are 100% guaranteed extraterrestrials in existence in this universe, that is what I want to hear.
Right. I think evidence, excuse me, evidence of unidentified aerial phenomenon could be anything, like you said, Noel. It could be a balloon floating in the sky that they're unable to identify, and they're just like, what is this? But I think what is curious about this article, at least, is that this guy, this founder of aerospace threats identification program, that program's now closed. It's not even something that's still open and viable. So this guy closed this program, and I guess he's even mentioned that this info dump was coming in the past. And last July, he had mentioned, "Hey, I'm going to dump all this information. They're going to release all this stuff. The government's going to acknowledge it." And the time came and went, and nothing happened. So, is
Yeah,
this another? Is this another one of those where, hey, the government's coming out about it, and then the day comes and goes, and nothing happens?
yeah, I don't have the timeline in front of me, Dan, but there is, when this guy Luis has said that, there has been stuff in the media that's been released, and that's where I'm getting at. And a couple times, so he was ahead of that program where they spent $22 million to look at UAPs. That was the first one, and then they released the Tic Tac video. That was another one he was talking about. And then I think the latest one was the one we talked about a couple episodes ago about the swarm of UFOs, or the fighter jets or something we're following. You remember that? That's another one. So they're slowly trickling out stuff. And getting back to what you guys say about, yeah, the if you really do more research, that's another whole big discussion in the UFO community. Is a lot of these planes, that the triangle one, the latest one that came out, the there's debate saying that they're trying to see if that's interdimensional vehicle, or if that's one of our own, because there's more and more whistleblowers coming out saying that a lot of the UFOs or UAPs that you're seeing, those are a lot of the U.S. government's vehicles that they haven't been released to public. It's like secret vehicles, and the that's the one that the Skunk Works and in Boeing, they have like these secret fucking black military shit that they work on, and the shit that the average person really knows about. And the other big discussion is, like you guys said, alien life. the big word now in the last 2 years is they're interdimensional. And to this day, I know there's different dimensional planes and all this shit, but I still don't know what the fuck that means. So they're from another dimension, so they could just get in and out and stuff. And it's going to be interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to the dump and see what exactly they acknowledge, because they already acknowledged in the past they've gotten messages from other universes and galaxies, and basically a lot of them were like math formulas. And they've communicated with other beings, but I don't know exactly what those beings are, and to this day it's never really been clear.
Yeah, interdimensional. I still can't even really fathom entirely what it means.
Yes.
I've heard people try to explain it, and they use like a 2D example and a 3D example. Yeah. It's like a 3D can see a 2D, but a 2D can't see a 3D because they're only looking at it in a certain angle. And like it was weird. It was really weird. But if you watch a few videos on YouTube, after a while, you're like, okay, I kind of get it. And it's a real funny side note, like a little tangent. In that show Invincible I was telling you guys about, there's a scene where there's like some top secret shit going down, and they're in this like government facility, and there's like it's like a white room, like complete bright white room, and this guy like says something or he touches something, and then all of a sudden the light changes and you can see the room for what it is, and it's like a big like scientific area, like a laboratory. People are working and doing shit, and it's like a top secret stuff. And then like, what the hell did you just do? He's like, yeah, we put stuff in the water supply so that you guys can't see certain frequencies of light. And yeah, so this is just us, controlling what you can see and can't see. And then they're like nonchalantly just saying, yeah, you'd be surprised, how much we hide from you guys just in plain sight.
Yeah.
And I'm just laughing, dude. I'm like, what if this is legit? Like, this is just kind of a funny way of saying it, but it's like that shit like that really happens.
Well, I mean, there is, like you were mentioning, all there is spectrums, that there is stuff that is visible, but we just can't see it because our eyes can't perceive that frequency. So, like a rainbow and stuff like that, and microwaves and ultra waves and all of these things exist, and they're floating in the air. We just can't see it with our eyes, with our naked eyes.
Wi-Fi,
but if you had
radio,
if you had that vision or a device that can read it, you would be seeing all these waves going through the sky. So what if there are like beings that are at a different frequency that are just walking in front of you, jerking off in your face, and you don't know about it? You're just standing there. You're like in some other wave that I can't even see.
So you're saying you want the glasses to see them jerking off in front of you because you want to join them or something?
I just want to know if I should keep the face shield on or if it's cool to take the mask off.
Yeah, dude, that's the new thing, interdimensional, and it went from, they came from other planets. They traveled, beta Resicula or whatever, kidnapping people, and now they're like, oh no, or the other big one. There's three big things to me that from my YouTube viewings, right? Even though they put like reptilians or blah blah blah, their little bullshit censor thing. Anyways, so the first one is, they're from outer space. They traveled great distances. The second one is they're fucking demons and the devil's tricking us,
like
because
and all that, right?
Yeah, the Nephilim and all that stuff. And the third one, now the big one now, is they're interdimensional, right? And this one has been going forward more and more the last decade. Even, to me it surpasses like, oh yeah, they came from other planets. That this is the one that has been gaining traction. And we've talked about it in the past, about, on Joe Rogan's podcast. Elon Musk kind of talked about it. Alex Jones talked about it. Mancow talked about it. They take DMT, ayahuasca, and you get fucking going to these other dimensions and you see these beings or you talk to them. And I even read that the government has a way to communicate with these beings through technology. You don't even need to take these drugs. And it's just an interesting way where this is going to, you know?
Yeah, I think all of this stuff, Andy, is starting to get a little much, man. It's like jumping the shark. It's like I saw a documentary on Bigfoot not too long ago, and they were talking about is he the reason, because they were like, how come you haven't found any bones and bodies of these Bigfoots? Oh, it's because we're starting to think that it might be interdimensional. And I'm just like, all right, guys. Now this is starting to get a little ridiculous, man. It's kind of like Better Call Saul doing the ninja flips. It's just like, all right, guys, you're going a little much now.
Yes,
you're losing me here.
But, you know, exactly. But you got to look at it too. Like, you're right. There haven't been found no Bigfoot fucking bones. But you exactly when you go out in the forest or in the wild, you don't fucking find bones for like fucking deer or fucking bears, right? All the nature takes care of its own. So, but yeah, the interdimensional shit is kind of fucking weird. I hear you, but you know, going because you know I was into Bigfoot for a little bit. Yeah, that the one thing I always wondered why like we never really find deer bones. You go walking out there, you don't fucking see or bears and shit, right? So where the fuck does all that shit go?
I mean, yes and no, man. Like I hear where you're coming from. I'll give you credit. You're right, but I think part of that too is that most of us generally don't traverse the great open wilderness. We generally stay in our little communities and our towns and our states and our protected areas. But like if we go to like Alaska and the fucking Yukon and the open wilderness, I'm sure we'll find some.
Right. I think if you're in that environment, you're going to run across a deer, but you don't go and publicize it in the news. Hey, man, I found a deer carcass, you know, because it's no news. You know, it's like shit that just happens every day. You know, like you find a bum laying outside the park bench. You know, it's just like happens every day, so you don't report it.
So where does that bum dies? What happens to him, man?
Right? Do you hear it? You know, if a bum falls, do you hear it? If you don't see it.
But guys, that's all the time we got here, man. You let us know what you guys think. As always, ffnquestions@gmail.com. Is Bigfoot interdimensional? Is UFOs demons, or they come from other planets? Let us know, man. We welcome all sorts of fucking theories, except you know, if you're blaspheming, you gotta do a double take there, man. You know. But thank y'all for listening. Remember, you can follow Freeform Network on Facebook and Twitter at Freeform Network. Send your questions, suggestions, stories, life experiences, free shit at ffnquestions@gmail.com. Don't forget, check out the webpage, freeformnetwork.podbean.com. There we have links to every fucking imaginable platform that we're still allowed on. So subscribe, like, comment, share, shit on, please. Whatever you need to do, we need those metrics to go up. And you know, Stitcher, iTunes, whatever your choice of listening, please comment, subscribe, and hit that like button. Freeform Radio, we got Danny.
Yes, sir. Go out there, enjoy your day.
And we got Noel.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. Hopefully, if there's aliens coming, they're gonna help and save us and not do a leg drop all in our lives.
Oh shit.
You know, hopefully if the aliens come, or interdimensional beings that come in, and they'll be nice to us, because I have a feeling if they come, we're gonna get fucked. But we'll see. I'm trying to stay positive here, but Andy here is gonna sign off. We want to thank you guys for listening, and you know, we'll talk to you guys next time, and have a good week.
That was cool, Dad.